Here we are. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
The show. There's Dan. There's me.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Oh, there's tons of people here. Holy cow. I didn't realize that.
There's Robert, John Longshore. There's Carl Cratter. There's Mike Anthony. For God's sake, man. People, don't you have a life?
David Imparato and Robert Moffat. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, today it's we're talking about war game magazines.
War game magazines. I'm going to talk about War Diary, for example, which the War Diary folks were kind enough to send me a couple issues. So it's the only magazine I'm aware of that's like a print magazine, and dominated for amateur magazine for the Charles S. Roberts Award. By the way, by what standard this is an amateur magazine, I have the vaguest idea.
It's not.
It doesn't have a game in it. But it does have one of these two issues did come with some accessories for the Atlanta campaign, which is from Lock and Load. And it's an interesting looking game on the Atlanta campaign. There's a little.
Well, a War Diary once came out with the Ball's Bluff.
So that was a game that was in it?
Yeah, I have it right here, man.
Okay. Because this is the first I've ever seen of war game magazines like lately that don't have games in them. So,
well, I had it.
Timon6219 says that he had a lifetime subscription to S&T back in the day, stiffed by TSR.
NY Raider fan. Actually, it went well. Thank you very much. I might get a new job. Stupidly, I put on the medical questionnaire that I had carpal tunnel syndrome. So the nurse called me today, and I said, come on. I shouldn't even have put it on, this and that. I'm bullshitting something fierce. Because it hurts like hell. No politicians.
No joke, man.
No politicians there, Dale Brady. I just said we stay on topic. I don't know what.
Oh yeah, we're famous for staying on topic.
That's what I meant, man. Just like politicians, ask them a question and you'll get a question.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got a couple of these that I've been reading them in the evenings, and it's a pretty nice magazine. There's reviews in here, and there's articles, and it's not like they're about 60 pages, I think.
And who's the main writer contributor?
Well, John Haim, John D. Burt, who I've heard of, Mike Ranella, who's got a bunch of game designs, George Kasnick, Andy Lokes, whose name I've heard of, Lou Pulsifer, who of course is famous for talking about what a great game designer he is, Paul Combin in this one, and this one, Don Lowry and Paul Combin. Those of you who recognize the name Don Lowry, he's been around for like a long time.
Yeah, Paul Combin's from England.
That I'm not sure I knew. John D. Burt, Andrew McGee, Michael Stoltz, Mark Popovsky. So a lot of relatively familiar names, right? It's not just a bunch of randos writing for these guys. And
by the way, War Diary magazine, they got something with Lock and Load that if you subscribe, you get a Lock and Load game, I think, or something.
Oh, World of War 85 with all the stuff? That is them, right? I'm just teasing, actually. I'm sure it's not that, but
no. You got that World of War 85?
Nope, not interested in it at all. But I've pawed through it just because somebody brought it to Winterfest 2 years ago, last time we had a Winterfest, and it's an impressive quantity of stuff, if nothing else.
Bloody hell.
They got another thing coming for it now too. So
yeah, it's what's it called?
No clue. But
it's the solo not solo, but it's the upfront type of game. I forget it. Up close.
Okay.
What the hell am I saying? Anyways,
I don't know. But there's another. I think they're going to probably run it as a Kickstarter, which I'm sure will turn into another giant carload of material.
I don't have the money, man. I wanted to buy it. I don't got the cash.
You go talk to Dave. He'll send you one. I'm sure he'll send you one.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
How about this magazine, people, eh?
The General. The General's one of those magazines. I was talking about Fire and Movement and Moves last night, but The General was a great magazine too, actually.
I liked it.
It was the center. If you read Playing at the World by John Peterson, you'll realize just how central to the hobby the General was. back in the late 60s and early 70s. All of the like the community functions that we have on the internet now, people meeting other people and figuring out who
This
plays
was the
what.
internet back then. Yeah,
that was where you went. You read the general and you read the ads in the back.
yeah,
a lot of those people got hooked up by, you know, ads in the back of the general.
Man, they even like they have like the area top 50.
Yep. That was their for those who don't remember it because they are now senile. Though that was like the Avalon Hill official competitive rankings. Brian Jarvis mentions Lanzerath Ridge. David Thompson's new game in the Valiant Defense series is live on Kickstarter. It is called Lanzerath Ridge, and it's about like a couple of squads, like literally 2 squads of U.S. Army troops holding off an entire German regiment during the Battle of the Bulge. It's a pretty interesting engagement. David once again shows a gift for finding these obscure but fascinating engagements to make games into.
What was I gonna say? I thought it was already available.
Well, like, yeah, as of today.
You mean available on Kickstarter?
Yeah, it ain't shipping yet.
Oh, okay, that's what I mean. In this volume here, there's hold on.
Highlighting?
No, this guy over here. Here.
Who's that guy over there?
That guy over here, his name is Tom Shaw.
Tom Shaw, oh, the legendary Tom Shaw.
And he's being interviewed by none other than Alan R. Moon.
Alan R. Moon. That's a name I recognize.
Isn't Ticket to Ride, for God's sake?
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That guy's a multi-billionaire. All these guys started off as war gamers, man.
Well, that wouldn't shock me particularly, but I've never played Ticket to Ride. Yeah, Alan R. Moon. Wow, I guess he's loaded, huh?
Oh, man, are you kidding?
Buy that thing at Target.
Yeah, no. What were you saying? You never played Ticket to Ride?
No, I've never played Ticket to Ride.
It's good to play when you're drunk.
Yeah, or young.
No, not really, because there's actually strategy involved.
Oh, sure there is. I actually wouldn't mind trying it. I would probably have fun with it. I always resist playing train games. Like, I don't want to play that. That's a game for girls. And then I have fun playing it. So whatever it was.
You're gonna eat shit for that, man.
Oh, I totally am. I deserve to eat shit for that. It's a stupid attitude.
It's a game for. You know what? This guy over here, who did these games,
Civil War Commander.
Okay, his motto is his motto is, here you go. That's his motto.
I can't read that, Dan.
Okay, well, it says games for guys.
Games for, yeah, whatever.
What can I tell
you? The difference
is
I'm kidding. I don't know if he's kidding or not. Maybe he is too. I don't know. Minden Games, does Minden Games still publish their magazine? What was the magazine called?
Panzerfaust.
Well, okay. So Jeff Beeler mentions that are around right now. S&T World at War, Modern War, of course, folded last year. Paper Wars, Against the Odds, Special Operations, War Diary, C3I. Armchair General, I think, is still around as a website, but isn't publishing physical magazines anymore. Against the Odds is mentioned. I feel like the game quality, I only own about 3 of them, so maybe I'm nuts. I feel like the game quality in Against the Odds magazines are above average.
Yes, they are. It's actually, I still have it unpunched and all that, and
I mean, they only do like 1 or 2 games a year too, so that, you know, that's probably something. I never really owned that many issues of the General, because it wasn't like, by the time I was involved, it wasn't like central to the hobby, and those hobby stores that I was buying from as like an early teenager didn't have it. So even though they had a lot of Avalon Hill games, I don't remember seeing the General ever there. I didn't see an issue of the General on the newsstand probably until the early 90s, I would say. Bonsai magazine. So there's a number of foreign language wargaming magazines. In fact, Command magazine is still being published in Japan, in, of course, Japanese, so that doesn't help me. But there's also Vevictus in France as well. No enemies here. Look at that. What is it? Have you translated it?
It says I'm the best.
Okay, in Japanese, so we can't prove otherwise.
There's this here. One issue only.
Hexes and Soldiers.
Yeah,
now, who did that?
Jason Cruz.
Okay.
AJ Toynbee. Jeff
Beeler says he's not a fan of Against the Odds game graphics. I will say they've got a bit of a mixed history on that. There's a certain stylized look that a lot of their games, but not all of them, do have that I am not bananas about. But the ones I have, which is, like I said, like 3 of them, it doesn't bother me. I've got for Bloody Honor, which is the Russian Civil War one. I've got like a West Front of World War II one that I toppling the Reich, maybe. And I believe I have another one somewhere. Battles Magazine. Yeah, that's another one. Oh, and Yaw, or whatever it's called.
Yaw Magazine, man.
From Mark Walker. I don't remember which Mark Walker company it comes out from, but it's Mark Walker.
This one by the library of Carl Paradzi.
Is that a magazine though, or just a game that looks like a magazine?
No, it's a magazine.
Okay, because 3W published S&T for a couple of years, for 2 or 3 years, as I recall.
Actually, I think you're right, Artie. This is just a game. Bloody
Peter Berg says that Clash of Arms had a magazine for a period of time, and I think that's true, although I only very vaguely remember of it. I do remember the Grenadier. I've seen the Grenadier floating around. Panzerjäger I've heard of, but I've never personally seen a copy. The Wargamer, which Jeff Beeler mentions, was another classic magazine that was, I think, also published by 3W that had a game in every issue. And there was a couple good ones in there, too.
Why don't you start a magazine, man?
Because magazines are it's a bad business nowadays. I can't sell 300 copies of a magazine and not lose my ass. So,
damn, and I used to like Pipe Magazine, man, and Cigar Aficionado.
No, they still have Cigar Aficionado. I can tell you that. There's Barbed Wire Collector. So,
seriously?
No, it used to be. I don't know if it's still around. I know I could vouch for the fact that Barbed Wire Collector magazine was an actual thing. So, and Paper Wars, that's true that Brian Jarvis mentions. Paper Wars was it's been several years now, but was a relatively recent acquisition from Compass.
Here's another one from the Diary of Carl Paradzi, the Library of Carl Paradzi.
It was also, what's called? John Kisner's magazine, Line of Communication, I want to say. Combat Diary, Stalingrad issue. The magazine of the Combat Game System. Is that the Combat Game System from Compass? Or is that a different Combat Game System?
It says Critical Hit.
Oh, well. So, in that case, I'm sure it's of scintillating quality. The Europa magazine, which was around for like 87 issues, 85 or 87 issues, by the way. It was you had to be into Europa, right? But it was loaded with good Europa content. I'll vouch for that. I've looked through. A buddy of mine's got like the complete set of them, of course. I am unaware that Clash of Arms is associated with Against the Odds in any way. I could be wrong, but I'm unaware of any connection.
Against the Odds is with Turning Point.
Yeah, yeah, so that's a little complicated, and I'm not sure what the relationship is there, but there does appear to be a connection with Turning Point Simulations, yeah.
Do you know a guy, an editor called Raymond J. Tapio?
Ray Tapio? Yeah, I've heard the name.
Well, that's who does the Combat Diary magazine.
Okay. Is that like the one guy behind Critical Hit? Because that might make sense. Critical Hit's basically one guy who just like puts stuff together and then publishes it without testing anything. C3I too. C3I is easy to forget because there's only like an issue a year. It's easy for me to forget anyway.
I mean, that's a stellar magazine, though. I mean, seriously.
Oh yeah, no, I've been very pleased with every issue of C3I. I mean, for me, I very seldom buy the magazine because I want the game in the magazine. In the case of C3I, for like S&T, I will only buy S&T if I'm interested in the game. But I will take the occasional free issue that they decide they're giving away, though, because the magazine's pretty good. S&T, that is.
And you know what? We were talking about how expensive some magazines are. That's worth the money, that magazine, man.
Which one? C3I?
C3I.
Yeah,
C3I.
I mean, I buy it for the support for the games I'm already playing is typically what gets me to buy the magazine. More so than the new game that happens to be in the magazine, a lot of which are really good, but you know, there's a lot of really cool expansion material and scenarios and stuff like that, not just for GBOH, but for things like Normandy 44. There's like a whole mini expansion for Normandy 44 in, is that a magazine?
Well, I think so. It's a magazine, but it talks about it's their house organ, you know?
That looks just like a book.
Well, it's big.
Well, so books can be big.
But it's a half magazine, half book.
You know, Peter Berg's, it's entirely plausible that at the time SPI was losing money on that because they were doing stuff like that. All the little mini box games, they were losing their ass on it. It was costing the empty box cost about what they were charging for it with no game inside. Heavy Metal magazine, somewhat outside of our purview here today. Unless you're into titties. So,
oh man, I mean that's the magazines I got. I got a lot of general. I wish I could finish my collection.
I'm surprised. Did they have the Metal Hurlant magazine in Quebec? The French version of Heavy Metal, like the original version with like tons of Mobius stuff in it and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
because that'd have been pretty cool.
Well, because we got the French Gestapo here, so
I was never really into Heavy Metal magazine. I was into comics for a long time. And I in more recent years, I've developed an admiration for a lot of the stuff that Mobius did. He did a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah. I forgot I had control.
Yeah, you've got control.
Scheiße. Look at that. Hey.
Oh, viewers through the roof now because we mentioned the T word. So... Not exactly.
Okay, what Jeff Beeler? I liked the Canadian War Gamers Journal. Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's right. That goes back a long way, man. And those guys were from were they from Calgary or something?
I don't know. Where was Simulations Canada? Where were they based on?
Those are the same guys.
Same guys? Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Since there's only like 18, 19 people in Canada, right?
Yeah. Yes, Mobius was awesome. Look at Brian Jarvis. He's still got the Princess Leia Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Now, I liked that's true. We're on Dan's. If we get demonetized, we're on Dan's channel. It's okay.
Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. That's right. That's right.
Oh, really? Wow. That's an awesome location because, boy, you're not going to go outside and enjoy the weather, are you? You're going to stay inside and play war games. That makes perfect sense to me.
Look at that. Trevor's giving me a shout out. I started a new channel called the Fokker Circus.
These miserable Fokkers.
Sim Canada. That's it. They were
Simulations Canada.
Yeah, they were in Vancouver.
Okay. So, yeah, I've never owned a SimCan game. I can tell you that I don't know a lot, but at least in recent years, there's been a number of SimCan games that have been re-released in the pages of Paper Wars.
Yeah.
So.
And Paper Wars, that's a Compass Games.
Well, now it is. Yeah, it wasn't originally.
Who was it?
I don't remember. But Compass Games picked it up, and now Ty Bombay is editor or in charge or whatever his actual title is.
Oh, he's in charge of he's an editor of Paper Wars, eh?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. We got a Zappa fan here. Yes, sir.
So it's
Hold on.
all good.
Bridgewater where? Nova Scotia? Bridgewater. How far from Yarmouth, Brian?
Yarmouth. Now we're talking about Canada again.
What's Kilroy saying? Dan loved the new channel, but not the tagline? What the hell's a tagline?
What's the new channel?
It's called the Fokker Circus. So what's a tagline? Yeah, Brian, Nova Scotia, are you halfway between Yarmouth and Halifax? Okay, going north or going south? Go Fokker yourself. You know, that's not the tagline.
It's almost like we saw that coming.
What the hell is that? Brian, because my girlfriend, wife, fiance is from...
I see a lot of really valuable suggestions here, though.
Absolutely. Wait, Brian, she's from Pubnico, so the most south you can get in Nova Scotia.
I don't know where any of these places
She's a real Acadian, Brian.
Acadian. Those are like, for those who don't know, those are like, I think they get upset when you call them the Canadian Cajuns. But that's basically, they're basically the Canadian Cajuns.
Well, I mean, no, hold on a second. The Louisiana people are the Canadian Cajuns or the American Cajuns. What the hell?
Right. Exactly.
They're the same people.
Yep, they are. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because France owned all of the continent except Mexico.
Yeah, and they were a religious, I forget the exact details, but they were one of the various religious minorities. They might have been Huguenots or something like that, that got kicked out of whatever French-speaking area they were and came to the New World, and some of them ended up in Acadia, and some of them ended up in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
then the Brits came and they pulled the 1755.
Well, then then Napoleon sold the whole place to the United States. So
why did he do that?
Because he needed the money to finance his war with Britain that wasn't over still.
Well, I guess he didn't get enough cash.
Nope. Yeah, Louisiana law is still based on the Napoleonic Code rather than English common law, like most of the rest of the U.S. too.
Well, I mean, Quebec is Napoleonic Code.
Well, they're not the U.S. though.
Well,
at least if you tell them they are, they'll be upset, right? So I'd assume that Quebec is. So
Trevor says Napoleon sold the land and he didn't even own it.
Well, they claimed it. I mean, I don't. It wasn't like the whole area was thoroughly explored, right?
You're gonna mess with the French army.
But the French army was a little bit busy at the time, as you may recall. So that was kind of the problem. That's why that's why Napoleon wrecked Haiti too, because he needed the money. So,
hey, little boy Blue, he needed the money. That was
exactly.
Funny. That was funny.
Yeah, wasn't that Andrew Dice Clay? Yeah. Alarums and excursions. So is Alarums and excursions still around? Because it might be. I know Lee Gold is still around. Albion, I don't really remember. Ares, I absolutely remember. Battle Technology, which was the Battletech magazine, that was around for a few issues. Battle Plan, Board Gamer, vaguely remember. Dragon ASL, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Yeah, obviously, I remember Dragon Magazine.
Dragon ASL, it's that guy, that beer drinking guy. You see, he's third party ASL, right? He prints a.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Games Unplugged, I remember. Moves we've mentioned. Operations. So Operations pretty much turned into Special Ops. Panzer Digest doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, no,
Courier's
been mentioned. Is Minden. That's Minden.
Oh, is that Minden Games? Yeah. Okay. And Panzerfaust has been mentioned.
Which is Minden too.
So most of those are magazines we've at least heard of.
What do you think Columbus did?
Yeah.
Columbus. Now that's a contentious issue.
It is nowadays, yeah.
You know, where was it? Where did he die? And Was he died? Where did he come from? He was Italian, but why the Dominican Republic claim him, and wherever else he is claims him too? I forget.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've got about one of those file boxes of War Game magazines.
Look at that.
Like just magazines, right? That's S&T. Most of my S&Ts are in there. I've got some of these. So what I do with these things is if I get like a set of them, what I'll do. Oh, geez, I got games that I forgot about down here.
Scry magazine?
I remember Scry.
That's sci-fi?
It was a collectible card game magazine. So what I'll do is I'll make a label and put them on one of these mailing boxes. So I've got all 3 linked Victory in the West games here, for example. Hold on. If you were talking about that.
Look at that. You're so meticulous. He's meticulous. Ares magazine. You can consider Ares magazine a war game magazine because it's sci-fi war.
I would not say that all of Ares games were war games, but some of them definitely were. Who remembers this?
No.
Yeah, very obscure. My parents found it in the basement, and they gave them to me for Christmas, and because they noticed that I'm the editor. So back in the day of when Magic was a thing, and there were a number of magazines competing to come out on top. Scry won, by the way. But Conjure was something that was happening for, they did about 6 or 8 issues or something like that. And you were the editor? I was.
And was that a good paying gig?
No, it was a free gig, and the magazine was, and on top of that, the magazine was trash. So not recommended.
Oh, man.
I just thought it was funny because I had no idea my parents had 2 copies of Conjure magazine sitting in the basement.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's a blast from
Space Gamer. There was also Fantasy Gamer, and then Space Gamer and Fantasy Gamer were like merged into the same magazine for a while. Steve Jackson Games did several magazine hold on a second. Several magazines, including Space Gamer. I'm not sure if they did Fantasy Gamer or not, but they also did Auto Duel Quarterly for Car Wars. Then they eventually they did the Role Player magazine for GURPS. And then they kind of folded everything together into Pyramid magazine, which ran for several years. And then it got turned into Pyramid Online when magazine publishing for gaming basically croaked.
Hey, man, Kevin Hunn just upped his pledge on my on
awesome.
my Patreon from $5 to $10. Thanks,
what a guy.
Man.
What a guy.
Huh?
So yeah, Kilroy, absolutely. You don't need those books. They're all boring and dry anyway.
He was telling me to read a Mormon book, man, because I'm not even gonna say anything.
You better not. You're getting in trouble with the Mormons.
I guess I don't know. The Mormons. I don't know anything about the Mormons.
What is Robert Burns Day?
Robert Burns Day, Scott.
I know that, but what is Burns Day? January 25th. Oh, that is today. So it's
Burns
happy
Day. Robert Burns Day.
Hold on a minute here, man.
You're gonna pour yourself a Scott.
Absolutely, for Burns Day. Yeah,
shit, man.
Why not?
Well,
like
hold
I
on
needed
a second.
An excuse. Come on.
I'm gonna get one too.
I don't have that many books, but what I do have is a Ohio State University library card. It's one of the probably 12 biggest university research libraries in the country. So I can kind of get whatever I want. Scotch. I love scotch in my belly. I have one of those please stand by screens. I just have I've used it occasionally on the Monday stream. but not very often, because I'm good enough at planning things nowadays where I don't have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the stream anymore. So that was the point. Avalon Hill's Heroes magazine. Yeah, that lasted for about 6 or 8 ish, 6, 7 issues, something like that. Was also a pretty good magazine dedicated to the Avalon Hill RPGs, which at the time, I'm not sure that was Powers and Perils, RuneQuest, and Lords of Creation. They hadn't come out with Tales of the Floating Vagabond yet. And there may have been support for the Victory Games James Bond in there too, although I don't remember that. I've actually got an issue or two of that floating around somewhere. So, for those who don't know, the ASL rulebook, the electronic version of the ASL rulebook has just been updated. So if you own that through Wargame Vault, you can go get a new version. It includes the new Italian stuff from Hollow Legions. Fresno Gaming Association's Board Game Journal, the legendary Fresno Gaming Association. There you go.
Happy Robert Burns, man.
Look at that. He's even got a sherry glass to drink it out of.
It's not... Hey. I got some Glencairn glasses upstairs. I don't like the Glencairns.
That's fine. You have your sherry glass. That's a perfectly acceptable glass to drink scotch out of.
And I'm drinking a Highland Park.
I like Highland Park a lot. Which one?
It's the least peatiest.
Oh, I don't think Highland Park is that peaty, but then again, I like Lafroig, so don't ask me.
I used to love Lafroig, man. It tasted like fish.
I love Lafroig.
I know.
This stuff is a Speyside. This is Tam Navulin. This is a Speyside, and it's very easy to drink. Let me put it that way. I predict its swift disappearance. I am, in fact, wearing plaid pajamas, which I've been wearing all day. And I will wear when I take the garbage out in the snow after the show. So,
you know what? It's Carl Creeder that put me up to it. Carl Creeder is still to give me the address of the chicken ranch there. What's it called in Vegas?
You have the internet. You don't have to depend on Carl to give you the address or contact information for the legal brothel in Nevada. Oh, so speaking of Nevada, since we're talking about that again anyway, at least if we get demonetized, we're on your channel. The War Room at the Dice Tower West has been canceled. So, so the Dice Tower West has not been, right, at least yet. Gen Con's probably going to require proof of vaccination in some form. Origins has already said they're planning to. So bear all that in mind.
You ever check out the Scotch Test Dummies?
Oh yeah. I've watched it. I used to watch. It's the only reason I used to be subscribed to the Dice Tower was to watch Bart and them talk about war games. Certainly, none of the Dice Tower's content was applicable to me. I
remember when they did one of the first bourbon taste tests, and they had like 50 or 60 bourbons, and they had to choose the best bourbon. And Scott, Bart's partner, right now he's working for a Scottish distillery. Eh?
Yeah. Did we know which one?
Nah.
Okay.
But anyways, they're doing all this, and he's got the nose, right, Scott? So Scott says, "This is the best one." And then he checks out the number of what it is, and all that comes out of his mouth is, "You gotta be shitting me." It was the one with the bleeding top there, the bourbon. Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark,
yeah.
You gotta be shit.
Maker's Mark is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Certainly not special. Famous Grouse. So the Darkest Grouse, which is the peatier version of Famous Grouse, I actually like. I think it's very good for the price.
Why am I not doing the Dice Tower anymore? Seriously, it's a question of time, and I value it because it gives your life longer time. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
I did the stint. It was amazing. It taught me a lot, and I had to have a show every week. That's what I do. I have a show every week. So what's the problem?
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. Now you got 2 shows every week is what it looks like.
3.
3?
What? I'm here.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
There's this one too.
Ain't got nothing there. God damn.
I like Highland Park a lot. Highland Park is in the Orkney Islands, north of Scotland. There's only one other distillery up there, Scapa, which I've never tried actually. I've always wanted to. I hear it's decent. You've tried Scapa?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So it was good then. Or at least it wasn't that bad that you had to stop drinking it.
But yeah, we sell it here. And I don't know about your Scotch prices, man, but our Scotch prices are insane. Like the Highland Park is $108.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
It's not that much here.
What do you mean?
It's not that much here.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean by not that much here.
I haven't bought Highland Park. I think it's probably about 70, the basic Highland Park 12.
If I want to buy the basic Lefroy, the 10 years,
yeah,
I'm paying $80.
Ugh. That's Canadian dollars though, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's about 62 here for the 10 Lefroy 10, I want to say.
You know, we had a Scotch, I forget what it was the Dalmore a couple of years back, and it was $3,000 a bottle, and it came in a crystal bottle with a silver head stag, like their logo. And some idiot didn't do his research because the crystal bled lead into the Scotch.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't keep alcoholic beverages in lead crystal decanters.
So it was on the news showing everybody dumping their $3,000. It was insane.
I've only had the basic Dalmore 12 or whatever it is, and it was okay. I wasn't that impressed with it.
You ever try a Balblair?
I have not.
The Balblair 90 or something like that? Really nice.
I bet it's nice, but remember, I live in Ohio. It's hard to get anything that's not like a standard distillery expression here, because they don't want to deal with the Ohio state bureaucracy. And if it's something obscure, I can't get Springbank, I can't get Tobermory. There's all kinds of stuff I just can't get here.
Yeah, so that's what's good about Quebec. We have tons of scotches.
Yeah,
you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, best bet for me is to drive to Kentucky or Chicago.
Is the bourbon cheap in Kentucky?
The bourbon's pretty cheap in Kentucky. Yeah, it's cheaper than it is here. And you can literally you drive through Cincinnati, you drive over the Ohio River, you drive over the bridge, you turn left, and there's a Kmart sized liquor store right there.
Seriously,
so, yeah, that has their Scotch selection blows anything the entire state of Ohio put together away, but their bourbon selection's even better than that, as you'd expect, because it's Kentucky.
Wow, they must have some nice sweet bourbon there. And man, that between bourbon and Scotch, I'm sorry to say, but there's no competition here, man. Scotch is way more complex, and you can go deep in Scotch, man. Am I wrong here? Huh?
There's good bourbons too, but
I like bourbon.
So my whiskey ladder of the whiskey I like runs something like Scotch, American rye, Irish whiskey, bourbon, and Canadian whiskey. And to some extent, that reflects my own ignorance about, say, Canadian whiskey, because it's on the bottom. But because I haven't had that stuff that Mo shared at Compass Expo was pretty good. I got to tell you that. But the best thing I could say about it is, it's easy to drink, right? Which is true. A lot of bourbons are super easy to drink too, especially on the rocks. But I tend to drink whiskey neat in pretty small quantities. I mean, it's not like I'm going to have more than this tonight. So I am happy to emphasize quality over quantity and not be plowed all the time. So,
you don't put a dash of water in your whiskey? It
depends which Scotch it is, but yeah, I often do.
Because man, there's some Scotches, man, they're 62%. The Abunad. The Abunad is 62%.
I had a 5-year-old Kalila that was something like 63.5% or something like that. And boy, you had to put water in that. This is above the 40%. So, which is which is the average for American whiskey. It's a little low for it's the average for Scotch too, but if you start getting to single malts, it's a little on the low side for single malt. Single malts should really be bottled at 43 or 46%.
So what's your favorite war game magazine? There you go.
My favorite war game magazine that's currently published or ever, because ever is it's gonna be S&T, I'll tell you that. That's currently being published, probably C3I.
Yeah, I would say C3I, man. You know, and you know that Roger B. McGowan is not writing a book, but putting together a hardcover coffee table type book of all his.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, and if you can probably get it when it comes out, because I'm sure some rich people are just gonna jump on it and buy 10 issues of each.
That's
Whatever.
the thing that I think he would be better off putting on Kickstarter.
He's a mild-mannered man, this guy, you know?
Yeah. Running a Kickstarter, probably from what I've told, running a Kickstarter is a lot of work, too. So.
Yeah. That's Asia. And New York Raider fan. What does Steely Dan mean? Why did they call themselves Steely Dan?
Isn't it named after a dildo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Favorite war game from a magazine? Oh, that's a much more interesting question, because then we're talking about the entire history of magazine war games, and a decent number of which have passed through my hands over the years. Favorite? I think the most important magazine war game of all time is Panzer Group Guderian. But that's not my favorite, because I've never played Panzer Group Guderian, because it's so influential, right? But Sicily from Victory in the West is a really, really good one. Possibly the best implementation of that system. There's some other ones like, I mean, all of the recent, so the Curse game from C3I, that looks good. All the different variants of Empire of the Sun, but do those count? Right? I mean, because they're really just scenarios for Empire of the Sun, right? Aren't they? So I'm not sure if I should count those. So it's hard to say. Yeah, I think Panzer Group Guderian is a more important game than Battle for Germany. I think Battle for Germany has sold more individual copies, but Panzer Group Guderian has influenced more other games than Battle for Germany has. Well, Battle for Germany, you know, there's a gimmick to Battle for Germany, right? And while there are some other games that have picked up on that gimmick, not that many.
There's I don't know who did this, not John Panitsky, but Against the Odds, this one I showed you before, it's basically Battle for Germany, but it's a Battle for Berlin. It's Fortress Berlin.
Okay.
John Prados.
Okay.
He's a good designer, John Prados. I don't know of him.
Yeah, you do.
No, I know of him, but I don't know any games.
Third Reich.
Oh, this guy goes way back.
Indeed.
He's an OG, man.
Yeah, absolutely. David Imperato says that the Mike Granella Impulse game on the Overland campaign Against the Odds is also very good. I haven't seen that. I've never run a Kickstarter, so I have to rely on what people who I know who have run Kickstarters tell me. So there are... I am not the world's biggest backer of Kickstarters, okay? I've backed one wargaming Kickstarter and about half a dozen RPG Kickstarters, and I've backed probably another half a dozen that were like $1 or $2 pledge, just to say, I don't really want this thing, but I want to show my support for this individual who's doing this project. So I'll throw a $1, $3 or something.
Did you ever get shafted?
No. I did have to run down Free League on the One Ring 2nd edition stuff because their backer kit lost my all my info. But 3 League says it's all fine, and I'll get it. So okay, I'm satisfied with that answer.
Did you get the Twilight Struggle? The
Twilight 2000?
Yeah. Did you get it?
No, I did not. I'm tempted, actually. I know Noble Knight has it. So I'm really trying not to buy more RPGs, man. I'm trying to catch up with Traveler. So more than I'm trying to buy new RPGs. So I'm resisting the impulse right now to pick up Twilight 2000, even though it does look pretty good. It looks
talking
like
about the wooden box thingy.
Oh, I don't know. I would probably just buy the cardboard box. I ain't got that kind of space to store some giant ass ammo.
No, but remember it was out. It was on a P500 or something.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Because now it's going for big bucks.
Original Cobra. That is another really noteworthy magazine game from the S&T era, the SPI S&T era. That is. I have absolute faith in David to release a polished product for Lanzarote Ridge. I'm not going to back it because, again, I gotta be very cognizant of. So I'll tell you why. Okay, I've spent a lot of money on war games in the last 6 months, which like more than I had spent, in the previous 6 months or really ever before that. It's now time to buckle down and start putting that money into a down payment on a bigger house. So that's why I did back the Caldor book, actually, but I haven't received it yet. I got to talk to them. That's more complicated. I didn't get stiffed on that. That's just I got to talk to them.
We should do a show about how much money is spent in. Maybe we should cut it down to a month on war gamers. How much money war gamers spend in a month? Because in a year, people are going to be afraid.
So what have I spent this month so far on war games? I'm not sure I've spent the $500 from GMT. So well, there's that.
You got 2 copies of the Mark Herman's game. 2
copies of Pacific War, 2 copies of Vietnam, 1 copy of Barbarossa Bomber Group Center, 1 Salerno 43, and 1, what's the other one? That Into the Woods. So
and why'd you get 2 copies of that?
Because each? one of each is for Fucko, not for me. So that's why. They're not both for me. One is sufficient for me.
Oh, so okay, I see. Capiche.
Yeah, so like he ordered 2 copies of Hollow Legions, and I ordered 2 copies of Pacific War in Vietnam. So
yeah, we should do it. Put some spice back in KilRoy's life.
We're absolutely going to do that show, and furthermore, we're going to email your wife and tell her we're going to do that show unless you increase your pledge now.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with Mongoose Traveler stuff. I'm actually pretty close. Other than stuff that's not out yet because it's pre-order stuff. I've got like 1 more hardcover to buy. That's Skander's Vic. That's the Sword Worlds campaign. I haven't picked that up yet. Otherwise, I'm basically caught up. There's a bunch of the adventures, but they're small and cheap. So
I scaled back a little bit from war games, and I put the money in tobacco.
Frederick the Great is another good one. It's another noteworthy magazine game from the S&T SPI era. I'd pull it's on the other side of the room, buried under a pile of trash, so I can't pull it out right now. But I've got the flat tray version. Extortion with ARDWULF.
There you go, man.
So yeah, I'm trying to spend less money. I'm not spending nothing because I mean, let's face it, I've got enough war games. I've got plenty of stuff on pre-order, but there's really at this point nothing that I can reasonably get that's out of print that is like selling for a price I want to pay, right? So I'm content to wait for new stuff. Also, we are probably going to be seeing a new GCACW game from Multiman come up for pre-order probably pretty soon, and it's possible that'll even be out this year. It's possible.
Hey, Artie, who's that Russian guy that keeps writing us?
I think that's a spammer, actually.
What do I do? Do I zap him?
Yeah, zap him. He keeps coming on my channel. I don't know. It's probably Putin. It's Putin. Whoever it is. He's taking orders from Putin.
Oh man,
they're trying to undermine the Ukraine.
We should talk about that. That's quite the news. The news.
Yeah, we might be having live wargaming on the Soviet Ukraine or Russian Ukrainian border real soon now.
Yeah, you know what my friend said? He loves to come back from work, crack open a beer, and watch a war on TV.
I guess, but let's hope it doesn't come to that.
It's going to be bad if it does, though.
It's going to be real bad if it does. But it's possible Putin will back down.
He's not going to do it. Are you kidding?
That's possible.
Come on, what the states? What are the states going to do? Just
it's not about what the Americans are going to do. It's about
but the Americans are going to do whatever the Americans are going to do.
Ukraine has been ramping up their military for the last 5, 6, 7 years, actually, and they're pretty potent military now. I'm not convinced that the Russians can take them cleanly, and Putin probably knows that. And if he does, then he's probably going to get out while he's ahead of the game, declare victory, and not have an invasion. Hopefully, I'm right.
What you think? What do you mean declare victory? You think that Ukraine is not gonna go into NATO?
Well, I mean, we're talking about like in the next 10 days here. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. So, I saw something about there's like, I don't know, 8,000 or something like that U.S. troops ready to get flown over there, and I'm like, what the hell are they going to do against the entire Russian army? But I don't think it's going to come to that.
Look at this guy.
I think he's trying to be funny. He's making fun of the Poles again. Poles fought very bravely, charging those tanks on their horses.
You know,
the horses were also very brave, by the way.
You know, they tried to build a stadium in Poland, but everywhere you sat, you couldn't see because everywhere you sat, there was a pole in front of you.
It sounds like Cleveland Stadium. Anybody remember Cleveland Stadium, the old Cleveland Stadium, where you could get sat behind like a 2-foot wide concrete?
Seriously?
Yeah. No, I'm not even making that up. So, and that was where the Browns and the Indians played at that point. Of course, the Indians never sold out, but the Browns often did.
The Browns.
That's the Bears.
I know, Artie. For God's sake. You know what I'm saying? What, have you been taking the lessons from Harold Buchanan?
He's not from Chicago either. I don't know anybody from Chicago that actually talks like that, and I know a fair number of people from Chicago. So
they talk like that?
No, they don't. That's what I'm saying.
Well, in South Carolina, they talk with a drawl. They talk like that.
So I ran down that guy you were talking about, and it does sound. I don't think it is, but it does sound like an affectation in his case.
Like he's pushing it a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, man. Come on.
He's probably another one of them fake yuppies that goes golfing on the weekends.
I mean, what's his name? Shelby Foote spoke like that, man.
No, very different accent. Shelby Foote was from where it was, Mississippi or Alabama or something like that.
I don't know. I liked him.
Very colorful character.
I like him a lot.
That. Mississippi.
Jeez.
So, yeah, he's from Mississippi. Yeah, I think your South Carolinian guy is pushing it in a very Saturday Night Live-esque way.
Yeah, because man, I was like, seriously.
Yeah. So, I mean, certainly they have a characteristic accent down there. But like I said, that guy sounds like he's from Hollywood. So he's probably just like those Duck Dynasty guys where they're actually yuppies from Minnesota.
Are they really?
They're completely phony. Yeah. You could go get pictures of them from like 10 years before, and they're there on the golf course wearing their plaid golf pants and polo shirts.
Oh, that's great, man. And talking about the Duck Dynasty, did you check out the I forget what that inbred family is on the net? What, you have to check it out. You gotta see it.
No, I'm not.
No, you gotta see it.
I'm not investigating.
I'm telling you.
I'm not.
One guy barks.
So So the whole Washington thing, that's a Midwest characteristic thing where you go, I got to put my stuff in the wash. That's a characteristic like Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, I think.
See, John Longshore. And now he's got an accent. He's from
Indiana. You pick up a light accent pretty fast.
Of course.
So if I was to go to England and then spend 6 months in England and then come back to Ohio, people would say, "Oh, you got an accent now." But if I went from Ohio to England and then went to Arizona or someplace like that, they might never notice because I have a pretty typical Ohio Midwestern accent. And they wouldn't notice it. It would just sound like I would sound like I was from the Midwest in Arizona, right? So,
Artie, they're called The Whites. It's not a funny thing. It's a documentary type thing. Incredibly interesting.
Oh boy,
you got to check it out. Come on.
Okay, so for the interested, where can they see this fascinating documentary on inbreeding?
YouTube.
Okay, well there you go. Google that. Google whites inbreeding. Amateur war game magazines. I don't know because I can't count on the Charles S. Roberts Awards to tell me what the
there you go. Shot number 2.
The amateur magazines are, because they're calling this an amateur magazine and it's just as good as anything anybody else is doing. So that there were several nominations. I would check into those. Alan Salazar mentions that new movie about the Munich crisis with Jeremy Irons playing Neville Chamberlain. That is supposed to be really good. It is called, it's on Netflix
right now.
Yeah, it's pretty new. It's called, I thought it was Netflix. I could be, maybe I'm wrong about that.
Oh man. Edge of War.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I saw it yesterday, and I passed it by. I don't know why.
No, it says it's on Netflix. I not add it to my list. I thought I added it to my list.
But I didn't see Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, he's not the main character. It's called Munich, The Edge of War. That's why I wasn't seeing it.
Hey, Mickey. You're a little bit late, man. What's going on? Priorities.
Anyway. So, yeah, so I don't know if the movie's good. I've heard that it is. But I have heard that Jeremy Irons specifically is really good in it, which I can totally believe. Jeremy Irons is good at even super, super shitty movies.
Jeremy Irons is Jeremy Irons. Carl is telling me to see Gross Point Blank.
Gross Point Blank is pretty funny. It's a movie where John Cusack plays a hitman that goes back to his high school reunion. It's pretty entertaining. And Dan Aykroyd plays the rival. He's like the hitman union steward that comes to get him. It's okay. It's worth your time.
I'll do it. I'll do it since you say it.
Yeah, Roger Hemsath is quite correct. Yeah, this is a traditional Russian foreign policy question, right? Where Russia is paranoid and feels like they're going to get invaded from the West for some reason. I don't know why they would think that could possibly happen. So they want buffers between themselves and the rest and Western Europe. This is a traditional Russian position to have, actually, for centuries.
Interview was good, Trevor. I hope I get the gig. They gotta probe me now medically. I can't wait.
He's talking about the aliens again. Yeah, the Chernobyl series on HBO, that is really good. It's really heavy. It's hard to watch, but it's really good.
My daughter was saying, "You gotta watch that, Daddy." I mean, you can't take anything seriously when you hear Daddy.
If you can sit through that, I totally recommend it. It's really good.
You mean what do you mean? If I can sit through it?
It's hard to watch because it's really friggin' heavy, right?
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
You should watch it. It's really good.
Actually, maybe I'll. Yeah.
Jeremy Irons was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie back in the 90s. Remember that?
God.
He was absolutely, I submit to you that if you sat through his performance, it was really good because he knew exactly how shitty a movie he was in. And it was thinking like, yay, they paid me a big wad of money to make this piece of trash.
Right now I'm watching Ozark.
I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah,
other
man.
than it's called Ozark.
Yeah. There's a foul-mouthed little girl in that. I'm learning a lot of curse words.
Oh, dear. You know where you'll pick up tons of great curse words is in watching Deadwood.
A bit, it's a bit much.
It is a bit much.
Yeah, it's a bit much. It's like, no, I wouldn't use that adjective here. You know what I'm saying?
No, and you shouldn't use that anymore, I suppose. Darkest Hour is supposed to be good, too. I think that's a...
that's a Stephen...
that's a...
Idris Elba, no?
That would... Idris Elba playing Winston Churchill is amazing piece of casting, just so we get that out. But no, that's Gary Oldman. So...
Oh, yeah, I saw that, man. That was pretty wicked.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Idris Elba's performance as Winston Churchill, however. That should be amazing. So, anyway. So, yeah, I mean, he was chewing the scenery. I mean, he was having a good time, right? So, I completely respect his performance in there. He knew he was in a shitty movie, and it was a shitty movie. I heard that the direct-to-video sequel is actually not bad, but I've never been sufficiently motivated to watch it. So, nor am I scheduling a watch party for it at this time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of evening where we have a life.
We got to talk about Brian Jarvis's comment. The movie you're thinking of was a made-for-TV ABC film called Mazes and Monsters, based on the book by Rona Jaffe, which is about Tom Hanks playing in the game Mazes and Monsters, which is clearly like supposed to be D&D, but the people that wrote the book and the movie didn't know anything about D&D, so he goes crazy and then gets lost in the subway. It's based on the James Egbert myth about James Dallas Egbert going into steam tunnels underneath the University of Wisconsin. So, anyway.
People, life's been good. Thank you for showing up. Artie, it's not next week. Next week it's at your house, but you said in February.
Yeah, it's not next week, and it's not the week after, and it's not the week after that. So this is like a month away. We're going to be taking the show on the road in the third week of February. So,
and what is it? Winterfest?
Winterfest, yeah.
And how far is it from my house?
I don't know. Let me Google it. Am I Googling it from Montreal to?
Yeah.
So if you were going to fly, you'd fly into Cleveland. If you were to drive, it's about a 9-hour drive.
No,
That's not that bad.
I can't do 9 hours.
It's probably 10 hours, actually, because it's west. It's on the other side of Cleveland from where you'd be going.
No, I'll watch you on the tube.
But flying, hold on, $138 airfare.
That's US.
Yes, that's true. And then I'm not seeing. It's 262 is what it starts at. US.
All right, I gotta get a job first. What do you say?
All right. Well, you got to do that, but and then you're not going to have vacation. So. All right. So everybody have a great night. We'll see you all next week, my place.
Ciao.